Thanks for tuning into High on Horror. I'm Drew.
And I'm John. This episode and every future episode's dedicated to the horror hounds and smokers out there who want to expand their knowledge of the genre and have a good time.
It's getting hot out there.
It's getting hot at her.
When you think of summer, what movies do you think of? It's that time of year where you break out your summertime slasher stack of films to watch. You know, the ones that you watch when avoiding going outside on hot days, where you live vicariously through the poor bastards on screen sweating and running for their lives.
I would think you would probably beat Joey from Friday Part 5.
Okay.
Oh, man, that's
I'm
fucked up.
gonna let that slide. Okay, I'll get you back later. Anyway, we're discussing our 3 favorite summer camp horror films today. There's 1 or 2 that I think are expected on most lists that you'll find on ours, but I think that there's a few that aren't on most lists that you will find on ours today. All that and more today on
High on Horror.
Interviews, reviews, and the latest news all rolled into one. All right, well, I guess we're going to start this episode by smoking like we always do. What do you got for us, John?
I got some more of that Colorado weed.
Colorado.
That's a Honey Crisp cake. We smoked
Honey Crisp cake?
Honey
Damn.
Crisp cake. Well, we smoked a blunt of it when Kenny was in town.
There was so much weed going around, true. I don't remember.
20.2% THC.
Damn.
But we also have another blunt of it today.
Hold on, this is it smells good. It's like
Does it smell like honeycomb crisp?
No,
what the fuck's the name of that cereal? I fucked that all up.
There's honeycomb, and then there's also honey crisp, I think. So
so it's just honeycomb. I thought it was honeycomb crisp.
No, I don't know.
I don't know. You
Google
don't know
it.
shit.
Fucking Google it. I don't know.
I'm about to.
No, this smells really good though. It definitely has an earthy smell, but it's sweet. It definitely has a nice aroma to it, fruity. So look, before we get started here and talk about our summer camp movies, I wanted to take a second to discuss a few things about summer camps. John, have you ever been to a summer camp or any kind of camp?
I have been to numerous summer camps through Boy Scouts. Probably about 4 or 5 different summers. Just
no shit.
Fucking, you know how I hate the heat.
That's what that's surprising to me because I think no, John would melt in the heat. Dude,
I didn't want to do dick.
How old were you?
I mean, I was from when I was 11 till I was 15.
Okay.
But my parents, I didn't get a choice. I was told, you're going. They were probably we need a week without this motherfucker around the house.
Yeah. I mean, they're paying for it too, though. I mean, shit costs money.
And that's my first ever Boy Scout summer camp was at Camp Nobi Bosco, which is where they filmed the original Friday the 13th. They tried to use that as a scare tactic, to scare the kids, where it was they were there's a Jason at the bottom of the lake. And I don't want to spoil anybody's illusions. It is not a crystal lake. You can't see shit. It's just brown water.
Murky water?
Yeah, like pond water. But they were oh yeah, there's a Jason.
Would you eat a fish out of that water?
No.
No, okay.
No, I would not. They were and sometimes there were snakes. There was water moccasins a couple times the kids had to get out of the water.
No shit. But
anyway, they tried to scare the kids and they said that there was a Jason in the lake. And I was really, is there? And they're thinking it's scaring me. And they're no, there's not really one. I was like, they're you don't have to be scared. I'm no, I'm not scared. That'd be awesome. Is there really a Jason? Do you guys have a dummy in the lake? And they're no. I was damn, fuck. I was excited. They're trying to scare the other kids.
Did you have to do chores and shit? Did you have
no, because it was a Boy Scout summer camp. So the way it would work is we would get up in the morning. They did a thing. I mean, I don't know why it's called the polar bear plunge when it's in summer. Sometimes, the water was cold, but you would get up at 6 a.m. every morning. You didn't have to. I did. But you would get up at 6 a.m. and everybody would go and run and jump in the lake for 5 minutes.
Okay. Like a wake up splash kind of thing.
Yeah. And then you would come back. You would
Skinny
have your No. I was not ready for that. Then you would you would work on like your merit badges. You would have different classes. Like I did like a forestry class, which was really cool because for like 6 months after, I could look at trees and like I'd be like, it's this kind of tree, and then like after a year, I didn't care about it anymore. Like forgot everything I learned about trees. But then you would have lunch, and then you could either have more merit badges or like what a bunch of us would do would like skip the class and just go swimming.
What were you doing though? Like did you do activities? Like, did you whittle sticks and make fires? And
I mean,
shit?
it all depends on what merit badge you were working on when you were there. You would work. I mean, some of them were like citizenship, where like I said, some were like forestry. So like you would like take hikes and like, oh, this tree's blah blah blah. You could tell because of this. Like I said, I don't remember any of that shit. And then in the evening, they would have events. Like they would have like, I guess you would call it like advanced hide and go seek, where like you had to like capture people, and you would have like a prison where you could like have to capture people, but then people could sneak up and free the people.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was like a fun thing they would do. Or they would have like they did like the Olympics and like was stupid shit where like you do stuff in the water, or like the one I did is you took a griddle with a pancake and you would like flip it and try to do like tricks with it. So you'd like throw it up and like put the pan between your leg and try to catch it, or like something like that.
I'm good on that. I'm good on. Speaking of food, though, what's your favorite summertime food to eat?
I mean, burgers and chicken off the grill is always good.
Well,
at like summer camp though, you weren't really getting that. It's funny because we were going to bring this up, and I actually went and like looked up like what Boy Scouts get now for like summer camp food. And I'm like, the fuck, they got vegetarian options? Like my fucking options were you eat whatever this is or go hungry. Like there was no like vegetarian options.
Well, let me ask you something though. While we're talking about like vegetarians that have their steak in the world yet, right? Is there anything like not camp related, just in general? Is there any food that like you don't eat year round that you eat particularly during the summer? Because like I don't find myself really eating hot dogs like year round, but like for some reason during summer they pop up.
I might pick one up from Wawa or like 7-Eleven here and there, but not to do with camp, but like for summer, like I know you're not a big sports guy, but like a baseball game and a hot dog, like a nice warm like summer evening, not too hot. That's amazing.
A cold beer, yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I've been to baseball games. I don't mind baseball, and. Yeah, a cold beer and a cold beer and a baseball, cold beer and a hot dog, or like a soft pretzel. I'm a sucker for soft pretzels, man.
But I feel like watermelon's another one that I really don't eat any other time of the year.
I'm not a big fan of watermelon, but that is definitely a summertime food.
But yeah, and probably like barbecue chicken's definitely one.
I guess in general, barbecue. Like we don't barbecue year round. Nah. So yeah, I guess like that's a good answer actually. That's probably most people's answer is barbecue food, unless you're going to like some restaurant or something and getting that shit.
And I was gonna say
Burger King getting that flame broil.
I will say like I enjoy, as much as I hated the fucking heat of like my summer camps.
Yeah,
I enjoyed all of them except for one. I had broke my thumb like maybe a month or so before camp, and I had to get a cast, and I couldn't like go swimming at camp. Like that's one of the number one things about like summer camp. It's awesome is like you get to go swimming. Like
yeah, I can see that.
I was like, this is kind of like shitty.
Do you have any like horrible experiences dealing with counselors or other like kids or anything? Any bullies or assholes or?
Oh man! Also at the Jason camp, Nobi Bosco, like. That was probably, honestly, my least favorite one. It was like my first time away from home, so I got like all homesick.
Yeah, anxiety.
And, dude, like, I just had horrible fucking luck with like the way we weren't in fucking cabins like Friday the 13th. They were basically wooden risers. They had like little legs and a little platform. Okay. And then they had metal beds with like springs all across, just.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah. So, and then it just has like a tent kind of thing. You could tie the flaps.
Oh.
So like, to like close it, but it's still open. You had to have mosquito netting, period, because you're sleeping outside. Dude, like my mosquito netting was not working. I was getting bit. The one night I go to bed and on my bedroll, I don't know what was on it. It was covered in just ants. Like my whole bed was covered in ants, and I'm just like, what the fuck? This is horrible. I want to go the fuck home. Like 2 hours away from home. Fuck this.
Ugh. Yeah, bugs. I don't fuck with bugs.
But after that, like I had some other ones. I remember one time I fell out of my bed. Like I woke up and I was like, I just kept feeling like crunchy stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck? And it was just like leaves underneath me.
Damn.
And I was like, how the fuck did I fall out of bed?
You were Chuck Liddell out. Well, that's crazy though.
Fuck, I ain't even sparked this blunt.
I don't think that people realize, you listeners out there, I don't think that a lot of you realize how big of a business summer camps are. And despite the fact that so many movies are based on people being killed at camp, parents still send their kids there. No, in all seriousness, though, there are some nightmare stories about kids being abused and murdered at camp. That's why I'd never send my boys to camp. I'm not judging those who do. I'm just very anal and overprotective. There's this case from 1977 called the Oklahoma Girl Scout murders, where 3 little girls between the ages of 8 and 10 had been sexually assaulted and murdered. Their bodies were left on the trail leading to the showers outside. The case is still unsolved, despite them thinking that they had caught the bastard. The guy they took into custody, his name was Gene Leroy Hart. He was acquitted, though. And just this year, actually in 2022, it was said that although it's officially marked, quote, inconclusive, end quote, evidence strongly suggests that Gene Leroy Hart was involved in the assault. So yeah, deep and scary shit.
Yeah, I mean, fuck. Some of our movies ain't that bad.
Yeah, I know, right? But anyway, back to the positive. Regpacks.com says that there are more than...
Regpacks, so they eat about that Lail pack?
I knew you were going to make a remark.
Fuck, I didn't even notice that in the notes until you just said it. I put fucking Regpack. That's a fucking insult. Oh, you bringing that Reg pack?
unless it's a blogger like this is. Regpacks.com says that there are 12,000 summer camps operating in the United States, including 7,000 overnight camps and 5,000 day camps. Also, the summer camp industry profits upwards of $15 million a year. Wow.
Really? To be honest, I would have thought that would have been a higher total.
Yeah, I mean, well, more than 6 million children participate in some form of camp, sleepaway camp and day camp. That's a lot of kids, man. 6 million.
Yeah, I still think that 15 million a year should be higher.
Well, summer camps employ 1.5 million staff a year. That's between 1.5 million and the 6. So you got 7.5 million people employed a year.
Well, at the camps a year.
At the camps a year, yeah. 80% of camps are on social media as part of their marketing. I'm sorry, they use social media.
I mean, that makes sense.
As part of their marketing. The average cost of running a camp for 1 year is between $750,000 and $1 million. It sounds about right, but I just wonder what the breakdown is of like their costs. Well, I'm not a math guy, so I'm not.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering, like, what is their biggest expense? Is it staff? Is it electricity?
Maybe
like,
supplies, like food.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how that's broken down.
Yeah,
probably also property tax and shit.
Yeah, I could see that too. We also have one here, a statistic that says 86% of camps have a website, and that's actually considered low because more people should be online. You think 86% is a good number, but when you realize that we're living in this day and age, like now that's a lot of people not online, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's kind of a low number as well, but I also would be interested to see, has there been a decline in summer camps as technology's become more prevalent?
When I did this research, I was looking at that. I was hoping that I was going to find some sort of like chart that said summer camps are kind of dying out, but it was all about how they're flourishing. Apparently, that's surprising.
I like that. That's awesome. Like I said, like when I think about summer camp, a lot of time I just think about how fucking hot it was.
That's the worst part, right? If it was cold, you'd have been fine.
It's fun. Like I had fun. Like I met people from different states. I don't keep in touch with any of them. But like,
Well, that'll come up later. I have something to say about that.
But like, I mean, like I got to meet new people like from different states and shit. And like most of the summer camps I went to, honestly, we were the only troop there from Delaware.
I'm not surprised. Nobody gives a shit about the kids in Delaware. Okay, so here's some more statistics that I figured would be interesting to break down and talk about. CentralFloridaLifestyle.com says that 96% of kids said that one of the perks to going to camp is that you make new friends. I think the characters in our movies that we're going to be talking about are more into killing people than making friends, but that's okay.
True that.
93% of kids said that camp helped them get to know kids that were different than them. Now, you just mentioned this a little bit, but my response to that is kind of like, no shit, isn't everyone different from you? Like, what, do people go to camp and expect clones of themselves? Like, has anyone ever come home from camp and been like, I didn't make any friends or click with anyone because they were all just like me?
The funny thing is, like, honestly, if it was people from my troop, and I feel like our troop was a bunch of assholes. Like, we would all just, like, fuck with other troops and shit.
I can see you being a part of that. Some Child's Play 3 shit going down.
Nobody got shot.
Nobody replacing guns with real fucking paint pellets with real fucking ammo rounds.
That did not happen.
Well, however, okay, 69% of parents of children who attend camps
69
said that their child keeps contact with their camp buddies. Now, you said that earlier, so you haven't kept...
So, I mean, it's kind of...
69% is kind of a high number, though. Kinda. No, kinda.
I mean, yes, 7 and 10. But I guess I fit in the 3 out of 10 it didn't.
You're also not very social, though. I wonder if the people that are like...
Also... I also wonder when these numbers are from, because like when I was going to summer camp to age myself, it was the late 90s, like mid to late 90s.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, it was late 90s and I guess early 2000s.
So you never texted or wrote anybody from camp?
Texted? What the fuck was texting in 2001?
Do you remember that little blue square Nokia? Everybody had that bitch.
Oh yeah, I think my first phone was like monochrome.
Oh shit. Well, here's another one. 92% of people said that camp made them feel good about themselves. That's funny because I think of severe bullying when I think of camps. I think I'm just like brainwashed by the movies I've seen because I've never been to camp, but Jason got drowned. Angela from Sleepaway Camp gets bullied beyond belief. Cropsy from The Burning gets picked on by kids and gets Freddy Kruegered in return. I'm sorry, he picks on kids and gets Freddy Kruegered in return. And I wonder how truthful the statistics are here because I feel like this is like more than 8% of people feel bad about themselves or are bullied if there's 6 million kids attending camp.
Yeah, like I was going to say, hold on. Here you go. What I was going to say is there was a kid in our troop that got severely bullied.
Oh, man.
1 year at summer camp. So much so that they kicked, like, the 3 of them were actually a family. Our troop ended up, when we got back, kicking them out of the troop because of it. Like, they took shaving cream. And what we used to do for summer camp is we didn't take backpacks. We took foot lockers.
No shit.
And somebody, I guess, got his lock off. And they just put shaving cream all through all of his fucking clothes.
Oh, it's so fucked up.
You don't fucking wash clothes at summer camp. Like, I literally had bags that I would just put my dirty clothes back in for when I would, like, went home. Like,
right, you're in the middle of your cabin
anything.
in the fucking woods, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And they, like, threw his wallet into the pool the one day. But,
dude, that shit makes my stomach hurt. Like, I get fucking so mad hearing that shit.
In the end, the dude turned out to be a sex predator, so...
Oh.
Maybe it wasn't so bad.
Maybe they knew something we didn't. Maybe they got the jump.
Or it was their fault.
Maybe it was his. They were lucky when his dick they was thrown in the pool instead of his wallet.
Anyway, so I thought that was an interesting twist that the bully kid ended up becoming a sex predator. So.
Yeah, like so, it kind of makes it hard. Looking back on it, kind of makes it hard to feel bad for him.
The whole time you're like, oh, I'm like, yeah, but I know where this story's about.
I was gonna say you didn't stand up for him, but imagine if you did. What if you did stand up for him? You're like, man, that's that dude I fucking helped.
That dude.
Like, I got my ass whooped helping a sex offender out. That would suck.
Like, okay, I'll be honest. Like, nobody liked him, like, at all. Like, but even like. The other people that didn't like him were like, Yeah, that's kind of fucked up. Like everybody kept saying, like, dude, like, look, we get it, we don't like them. Like, what you're doing is fucked up, though. Like,
a little too much. Yeah. Okay, so lastly,
turn that extra dark.
Yeah, we did. We went pretty dark with that one. So 74% of children said that they tried something they were afraid to do while they were at camp. So the elephant in the room here is that I feel that a lot of this is referring to sex.
Really?
How many movies
Dude,
about
there's a lot of stuff at summer camp that, like, I was thinking of stuff that I had right fears at different points of summer camps I went to, and none of them I was thinking of was sex.
How many movies are about getting ass at summer camp? How
many movies?
You know? Okay, but I've never been to camp.
But I guess, in fairness, my summer camp experience was with all guys.
And you were a little younger, too. If you were 16 or 17, you might have been getting some, you know...
Yeah, 16 and 17 is when I stopped going to summer camps. You might have been meeting
people at the waterfront after the social.
I could have went as a counselor, and I was like, so I get to spend 2 months here just fucking sweating all day, every day? I'll pass.
Yeah, right. But, yeah, I feel that... The campers that voted, the 74% of campers that voted that they were afraid to try something, or that they tried something they were previously afraid to do, I feel that those kids probably attended band camp.
That's fucked up.
All right, so
they got flutes.
Let's talk about food again. A lot of summer camps offer good food. Pizza is a big one. We had talked about this earlier. You said you also looked up a recent menu.
I was going to say, I remember, I don't know what it is, man, about Chinese restaurants and summer camp pizza. It is not made well, but that shit is delicious. Like at Chinese buffets, have you ever got a slice of pizza?
I was there earlier today. I went to a Chinese buffet with my wife and children earlier. Yeah.
Did you grab a slice of pizza?
I always do, yeah.
Dude, that pizza is not good, but it's fucking delicious.
It's just a kind of what you'd heat up, like a Red Baron. You know, it's nothing. Yeah,
it's got its own unique taste.
Agreed.
And you're like, this isn't top quality, but I'm enjoying it. That's the way it is with summer camp pizza. The same it is with the Chinese buffet.
Okay, well,
the same with spaghetti. I thought.
Well, now I'll know if my 35-year-old ass, about to be 35, ever ends up in summer camp, I'll know to make sure I look up that pizza. But meatball parm is another big item at camps.
I just had that tonight.
Barbecue and meatball parm is my favorite food, man. I love on a sub.
Chicken parm is my favorite.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant. Chicken parm. Chicken parm, like on a roll, or chicken parm, like a sub.
Any kind of parm,
or just
pretty
chicken.
Good.
Yeah, or just chicken parm, like with noodles. Like, yeah, man, that's my favorite food. Anyway. Barbecue and any barbecue really is good, but a lot of barbecue pork goes down at camps, apparently. Sign me up.
I don't remember getting fucking pulled pork at my fucking summer camp.
Why'd you say it like that? Pulled pork?
Pulled pork? It's gonna be my gamer tag, pulled pork.
P-O-R-T, pulled pork. Anyway.
I was gonna say, one that they used to serve a lot, at least for me, was beef stew. I feel like that was just a staple. There was one day you have.
I'm not a fan of beef stew just in general, though, so I'd be sketchy to try some summer camp beef stew. I feel like they dump that shit out the can.
The meat is never tender enough. If the meat's cooked tender enough and it just kind of falls apart, then I like the beef stew. But there's so many that I'm like, why am I chewing this for 3 minutes?
That gummy meat, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they dump out like that Dinty Moore John. You know, you know what I'm talking about?
Mandy Moore.
So hot dogs aren't high on the list at summer camps, believe it or not. Like that goes to show you how little I know about camps, because I thought that all the fuckers ate that.
That doesn't. I mean, I guess the times are changing, but every summer camp I went to, they had a hot dog night. How hard is it? It ain't like they fucking like grilled them either. They just took them fucking Johns, just threw them in a big ass pot and just boiled them motherfuckers. Well,
that's what I was gonna say, was that I feel that hot dog, apparently it's not something that's offered often, and it's like I would imagine like hot dogs should have been like an everyday item. Like here's like the dish, it's or like you can have a hot dog.
Literally like, the easiest thing to cook.
Yeah, and that's true. But camps do have some good breakfast foods. I was looking up their breakfast foods. You can look online at camp menus, and you'll see that it's just endless breakfast items. And so you'd know where I'd be, because I'd be stuffing my face with breakfast, and I'd not eat the rest of the day. You know, I'm talking breakfast burritos, scrambles, sausage, bacon, pancakes, bagels. Bring it on. You know, breakfast food's my favorite food, so I would be
fucking summer camps
and fucking that shit up every morning.
bacon or breakfast food's cheap to start with, so like it doesn't really matter to summer camp. But dude, they would make fucking omelets. Some things were fucking delicious.
Oh, like where did they do like what is like a Western omelet where they put the green pepper and onions?
The way we used to do it is you could like
customize the John.
Yeah, we would have like peppers, onions, ham, bacon, I think, and mushrooms, and you could just like whatever you wanted. You just tell them what you want on it, dude. One of our assistant scoutmasters, I would always cook with him because you would get to eat like if you help cook, you ate last.
Okay,
but when I would do it, or I would volunteer when he made omelets, because this dude's first omelets were terrible, and me and him acknowledged it. He told me I finally caught on. His beginning omelets were absolutely horrible, but as he kept cooking them and went on, he made them omelets better and better, so that I'm with him, so I'm getting his last one, where he's at his peak performance. He caught on to me. He's like, I noticed you always pick me because you know my omelets are bad at first. I'm like, yeah. I was like, I'm going to get the good omelets. These people are stupid. But a summer food
that's crazy
that we didn't think of. I can't believe neither one of us said it.
What's that?
S'mores.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, yeah, s'mores are everything. S'mores, like the Pop-Tart s'mores, the Pop-Tart flavored s'mores are like
they're good.
They're good. They're not better than frosted cherry. That's still my favorite of all time. But
cherry or strawberry?
I like cherry more. Strawberry. It's strawberry. Yep, yeah, strawberry. Frosted strawberry.
Last summer when we went to the beach with Nicole's family. The one night we cooked out and made s'mores. Oh, dude, that's the worst thing's having a beard and eating s'mores. Nicole's like, you gotta go check your face. I couldn't tell, but I just had like marshmallow just like strung through my beard.
It's a bitch to get out. It's so because you're pulling on it and wetting your beard.
It's a whole process. You get it.
Anyway, let's get on to talking about the movies, brother. All right, John and I are going to count down our 3 favorite summer camp movies. A few of these movies actually are not at summer camp. They're just in a cabin or take place during the summer. So but that's okay. Deal with it. Either way, they are camping and it is summer, so it is what it is. My number 3 is Cheerleader Camp from 1988. Some of you may or may not have heard of this little gem.
Hard as hell to fucking find this movie, because when we made our list, I was thinking about putting it on here. I was just telling you, and I was like, well, I haven't seen it in a while, so I don't want to forget anything. And I said, well, maybe I'll watch it at work. And yeah, you can't find it anywhere online.
Yeah,
and apparently to get it on like VHS or DVD is expensive as well now.
It's funny because it's not that good of a movie, but you know, it's a fun movie, and so it's funny to see it go for that much.
It is exactly the kind of movie I expect when you would tell me Cheerleader Camp. Like exactly. I'm not expecting it to be fucking Gone with the Wind.
Well, our buddy Joe Bob Briggs gave this movie 4 stars and said, "quote We're talking some serious cheerleader meat."
Cheerleader meat.
Yeah, and on the back of the DVD it says it's quote B movie goodness, featuring graphic violence, gratuitous nudity, bad rapping, and more from the glory days of late 80s splatter. Sign me up. It's hard to deny any of that. This movie is about Allison Wentworth, played by Betsy Russell, who you all know most notably as Jill Tuck, Jigsaw's ex-wife. Jigsaw's ex-wife in the Saw series. Allison is haunted by dreams of the upcoming cheerleading competition. Once at camp, she and her friends and fellow campgoers are being hunted by an unknown killer. Allison doesn't know if she herself is committing the murders or not, so it's kind of a mindfuck, and it's kind of twisted who the killer actually is. It all comes down to some petty girl drama like jealousy and other shit. Director John Quinn actually said that the story was inspired by a girl who made the news for killing her classmate for making the cheerleading team. Quote, "This stuff does happen, which makes it more scary," end quote, John Quinn said.
He says this stuff happens like I just coughed right into the mic. Josh, you just gonna have to do your job, dog. So we know that ain't getting fixed now. Anyway, Like, does he mean this stuff happens like semi-normally, or like it happened in this one case? Because he's like, stuff like this does
It
happen.
does seem like he's trying to make it seem like it's an everyday
I guess it depends
thing.
how he said it. Like,
Yeah, well, it is fucked up, and it does, has happened, I guess, but it's still petty, regardless. But Cheerleader Camp is a slasher that needs to be experienced. It comes off like a TV movie due to bad acting, but with a lot of nudity and kills.
comes off like a TV movie. Is it like, isn't that most acting in a lot of the slashers from the 80s? But
Yeah.
we fucking still love them.
But it's still just watchable. This movie makes my list because it pops into my head every time I think of summer camps or summer camp movies. This one comes to mind. It's not the best summer camp movie, but it's fun and it stands out to me, and it's one that needs to be mentioned because it's not enough people talk about this, and they should. It's becoming more and more obscure.
It's funny you say that when you think of summer camp movies, that's when it comes to mind. That's the same thing for me. Like when we came up with this whole idea, that was like one of the first movies that popped in my head was Cheerleader Camp. But like I said, I hadn't seen it in forever.
Because it's just such a camp movie.
Yeah, I'm like summer camp movie, summer camp, cheerleader camp.
Yeah. And, also the legend Buck Flower, rest his soul, from Pumpkinhead, Escape from New York. He's in it. He's a real prick, but he has the funniest line in the movie when they're rapping and he falls over. He goes, "Laugh, damn it, you can't sing." It just fucking kills me. It's ridiculous. He always played assholes and weird characters, but he always stood out in a good way. This movie also stars Playboy centerfold Rebecca Ferrati, who was also the woman in the first scene in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, who has Ace help her retrieve her Shih Tzu.
Shit.
Also Penthouse Pet Krista Falanza, I hope I'm saying that right, and Terry
Falanza.
and Terry Wagle, who is also a Playboy centerfold and had roles in Predator 2, Marked for Death, and even Married with Children. Terry went on to do hardcore porn. Just wanted to put that out there.
Were you putting that out there for my knowledge?
Just a general knowledge. She got sued by Playboy actually for selling porn and branding the Playboy bunny on her site. Playboy doesn't condone porn from anybody that lets use the bunny apparently. Anyway,
it's funny you mentioned about, was it last week? We talked about the porn to horror acting. Like,
yep.
God damn, how many did you just name in this movie?
And the thing is that the same part of the brain that reacts to horror, which I couldn't tell you right now off the top of my head, is the same part that reacts to sex. That's why there's this whole thing about sex and horror and like sexy horror. You don't really see like people trying to exploit comedy by dressing sexy. Nobody dresses up like somebody from a comedy movie all sexy. It's always like a horror movie. So there is definitely a tie in, like porn and sex and horror movies, and sign me up. But but then there's Leif Garrett. He's in the movie, the late 70s musician. I'm sorry, the 70s musician and heartthrob. He has a big role in it. I don't.
But he's not a heartthrob.
Not now.
This if I can remember correctly, he is balding.
Well, yeah, and he's got a real serious addiction problem. I think that he's been on some of those VH1 shows about, celebrities trying to recover and all that shit.
I used to watch that trash Celebrity Rehab.
That's it, yeah. I don't know if Leif Garrett is actually a selling point or not. I probably should have left off with the porn.
I feel bad because you said the late and then corrected yourself. And I'm like, I thought he died, so I had to go look it up, and he is still alive. So
I know, that's why I had to correct myself.
Good for you, Leif Garrett.
Right. All right, so let me drop some knowledge nugs about this movie for those of you who do or don't know the movie. Here's some obscure things that a lot of people may or may not know. These are directly from the director John Quinn's mouth. All right, let me get there. My notes slipped.
His mouth.
All right, here we go.
Coming straight out his mouth, though.
All right. So Cheerleader Camp was originally titled Bloody Pom Poms, but the marketing team thought that title would sway TV stations from airing it, so they changed it. Bloody Pom Poms. I think they said that John Quinn said that he thought that that was a more suitable title. I disagree. I think Bloody Pom Pom sounds fucking terrible. How do you feel
Really?
about
I
that?
didn't think it sounded that bad.
Really, I like Cheerleader
I got
Camp.
really high on that.
Although I could see how Cheerleader Camp might not seem like a horror movie based on the title, and Bloody Pom Poms is definitely like a horror title. But it seems more sleazy. Like, I feel like Cheerleader Camp, they tried to
And I
tried
feel
to
like
not go too-
Cheerleader Camp, like you just said, how it doesn't necessarily sound like a horror. You might be able to appeal to a broader audience with it.
Yeah, take people by surprise with it. You know, some people might go, "Oh, bloody! That might have gore." But anyway, another one is that the weird old man and cheerleader football sex scene. If you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. The 2 albums in the living room are Leif Garrett albums. I tried to zoom in on them, but I could not figure out the titles or list them, and I know nothing of his music, so the covers did nothing for me. But apparently, the set dresser Bill H. Roberts Jr. snuck those in there. Only 2 scenes were cut from the script, and they were for budgetary reasons. Okay. The fading to red scenes that you see when Allison's kind of waning in and out of dreams, that was taken from the Belgium vampire movie The Daughters of Darkness. Not The Daughters of Darkness, just Daughters of Darkness. There we go. Daughters of Darkness, which is a pretty solid, sexy vampire movie.
Damn dog, how high is you?
I'm high. Also, they had to pay for all of the cabins up front because the people who rented them before the film started production stiffed the owners on paying. And Atlantic Releasing got the theatrical rights, but they hit a financial wall and didn't have a lot of money to theatrically release the film and ended up going bankrupt. So the film was just put out straight to video, yet it still got grouped a following. And it has it's a cult following now, and just off the home video release, it's got a cult following, so it's pretty cool.
All right, my third pick. Some people may have some problems with the pick and say it isn't horror, but I mean, it's in the song. They're kooky and they're spooky. I'm talking about the 1993 film Addams Family Values.
A classic movie, man. I'm glad that this one made the list and that you brought this up. You know, like Cheerleader Camp, I think a lot of people don't think of this or bring this movie up when summer camp movies, the discussion of summer camp movies come up, but this definitely counts. It's a good choice.
Yeah, I wanted to start with a light one here. Raul Julia is amazing as Gomez. The few movies I've seen Raul Julia in, he's just amazing in all of them. And this was actually his last film released before his untimely death in 1994. And little knowledge nug for you, American singer Michael Jackson was supposed to feature a song in the film called Adam's Groove / Family Thing. The song's mostly rumored to have been removed due to the sexual abuse allegations against Jackson.
Oh, shit.
But in reality, it was just because of contractual differences with Paramount.
Oh, okay.
Why does it seem like everybody always has problems with Paramount? I just thought of that. Like The Godfather. Like,
yeah, man. It's Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I mean, it's always... People always seem to have fucking problems with Paramount for some reason.
They make good movies, though, man.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, even though I said I wanted to start with a light one, this is pretty dark for kids. I mean, that's who it was targeted at back when we were, I guess I was about 7 when it came out.
Yeah.
Gomez and Morticia hire a nanny to take care of their newborn son, Pubert.
Yeah, it's funny because Pubert actually was an unused idea from the comics, so it's pretty cool that like they used that Pubert got brought into the series.
That is a terrible name, though.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree.
Like,
with
how
you.
would you feel if you were like walking around William Penn when we went to high school and your name was Pubert? You'd hate
But
every
your nickname
fucking
would be
day
Pube.
at that
People would just be
school.
like, "What's up, Pube?"
Dude, I would
You'd
like
be
find
Pube.
some nickname and just pray to God that the kids don't find out like what your name really is.
You would never get a date. Could you imagine if you were like, "Hey, you want to go on a date with my friend Pube?" You'd be like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm fucking good." Can't blame them either.
Anyway, Wednesday and Pugsley have tried numerous times to kill him. What they don't know is that their new nanny that that Gomez and Morticia hired for Pubert, Debbie's a serial killer. She marries rich men and then kills them to get their inheritance. Debbie ends up getting Wednesday and Pugsley sent to summer camp by convincing their parents that they actually wanted to go. And then Debbie begins seducing Fester because, you know, he's hot. And on
Nothing wrong with that picture.
And on their honeymoon, she tries to kill him by throwing a boombox into the tub. Like I said, this is a little dark for kids, but, you know, of course, Drew and I loved it.
Of course. It's a classic.
And the kids are at camp, and as you would expect, the Addams Family kids absolutely hate it. they have a Thanksgiving play. And why the fuck are they doing a Thanksgiving play at a summer camp? Like, that shit baffles me.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. That's a very good point, dude. It really is. That is a really good point.
Yeah, Wednesday refuses to play Pocahontas in the play, so her, Pugsley, and another kid named Joel are sent to the Harmony Hut. They're forced to watch Bambi, The Little Mermaid, Sound of Music, Lassie Come Home, The Brady Bunch, Annie, and then they all fake being happy, and Wednesday agrees to be in the play. And it's all a ploy, of course, and she stages a coup during the performance and reverts back to her true self. Joel and Wednesday share a kiss, and he stays behind to lead their friends in the camp's total annihilation. And the Addams Family siblings return home in a hijacked camp van. I wonder how far they had to drive, because, like, they're pretty young.
You'll find me in a van down by the river.
So now, going back to Debbie and Fester, she tries to kill him by blowing up the mansion, but Fester once again survives. She pulls a gun on him and reveals her true motives behind what she's doing. The Thing comes and rescues and saves Fester by driving Debbie's car into her. Again, like, this is pretty dark for kids. Fester apologizes to Gomez as Wednesday and Pugsley return. Debbie shows up, having taken another car, and ties the family up to electric chairs. Then we have a great example of Deus Ex Machina. Fucking upstairs Pubert is now back to his pale self, and he has a mustache. He's able to save the family through a series of highly unlikely events.
Happy coincidences.
Debbie throws the switch, but Pubert has somehow reversed the current, and it electrocutes her instead. And now Debbie has turned into a pile of dust.
Yeah, it all happens nonchalantly too. He's not aiming to do anything. He's just like there for casually, and like just shit's just happening to him. It's ridiculous.
And we wrap up the story. It's at Pubert's first birthday party. Fester's still grieving over Debbie's loss. I don't know why. She tried to kill him 3 times. However, he quickly has eyes for a new lady. Cousin It and his wife Margaret now have a new nanny named Dementia. In the family graveyard, Wednesday tells Joel that Debbie was a sloppy killer and she would have just scared her husband to death. I mean, it's a solid plan. You got like a bad heart or something.
Like bad hort?
Got a bad hort?
Like I read Howard from X.
Yeah, got that Howard hort.
That ain't good.
Anyway, Joel lays flowers on Debbie's grave. A hand reaches up and grabs him, and Wednesday just laughs. My question is, if Debbie was incinerated, how's she grabbing him? Or is it just some rando body in Debbie's grave?
Yeah, I know.
That shit's weird. Anyway.
Makes as much sense as Jason popping right back out of the lake in the Friday the 13th remake. Anyway.
Fair enough. But, yeah, this one's a solid one. How did you feel about the...
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't like it.
Did you see it when you were a kid?
I did. I don't like it as much as I liked the original, but it was right up there with it. It was a classic. Like, as a kid, you're not really judging it like that. As a kid, it's not, oh, this one's better than that one. It was more like, oh, I like this one because of these scenes, and I like that one because of those scenes. And they almost kind of even blur together at a certain point. So, like, or then they did. And then when you get older and you're watching them, you appreciate the different things about them. I like the first one more, but this one is right up there with it. It's not a bad movie at all. It's a great movie, and it should definitely be on a summer camp list for sure.
Yeah, like, are the Addams Family a good example of being, like, good but not great? Like, every incarnation of them, like, there's, at least off the top of my head, there's not a bad one. Like, they're all good.
Yeah.
But they're not, like, when you think about, like, any of their movies, you're never like, oh, the Addams Family had a great movie.
True. I even think that about the original show. Like, I liked the original show, but I'm not like, it was great. It was fun. You know, like...
Or they just found the right people to always play Gomez and Morticia. Like,
yeah, they always kept the vibe and, like, the beat and, like, the rhythm of the movies right, you know, but I agree. There's nothing great about them.
Julie is, like, perfect for Gomez because Gomez is over the top. He was a theater guy. Like,
totally.
He played it great.
I got some knowledge notes I want to bring up here. We tend to not get too religious, really.
Religious.
Political.
Some people treat politics like religion.
Well, this movie was intended to be overtly anti-Republican. we sway away from discussing politics, as I was just saying, but this needed to be brought up to people's attention because I don't think that people tend to look into movies like Addams Family Values too deeply. So this fact kind of gets overlooked. The film's writer Paul Rudnick told Hollywood Reporter that, quote, I did also want the movie's name to be a response to the Republican Party's constant harping on family values, as if only conservatives could define a loving family. In Republican terms, family values is always code for censorship and exclusion, and Republicans still refuse to respect or ever acknowledge, for example, LGBTQ families. I like to believe that the Addams family is far more loving and accepting than their enemies.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'd never heard that before.
it is, right? Like, who looks that deep into like the Addams family to find like political undertones? Raul Julia's eye actually fell out on set. His real eye just fell out. He picked it up and arrived on set the next morning, and apparently just put it in, and his eye was all bloodshot, but it worked. And the crew played a prank on him by everybody wearing glasses when he arrived on set, and he thought that was funny.
I think that's around when he was starting to have his health problems.
That's crazy, dude. I would probably freak the fuck out. I'd be scared. I would be like, "Yo, is that shit gonna hit me?" Imagine like if you do like smirk across from him,
Is that shit gonna hit me?
All right, ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right, let's get on to our number 2. Okay, the number 2 movie on my list is Cabin Fever from 2002.
Ooh, Eli Roth.
Yeah, Cabin Fever is the one on my list that doesn't really fit due to the summer camp theme, but it's summer and the people in this movie are camping, so it's on my list. It's important that I list this movie, actually, because I love it passionately. I really like this movie. It's also my argument card when people try to give me shit for not liking Eli Roth, because I downright despise his other films. I see his knowledge of the genre on screen in his movies, but I don't see skill. I'm not a director, but I'm a fan, and I know what movies I do and don't like, and no one is questioning him as a horror fan, but you gotta have more than fandom to make good movies. And Cabin Fever is before Tarantino's praise stamp that came from Hostel, so this movie is Eli before he got a big head and started thinking that he was the shit, because he's not and never was the shit. Anyway, Cabin Fever is Eli Roth's first feature-length film. His dad said he knew that Eli would grow up to direct a horror picture after he threw up watching Alien.
So, we found Drew's nemesis, huh? I got Rob Zombie, Drew's got Eli Roth.
Fair enough. Fair. I mean, is it fair to say at this point that if we found out that a movie was done by either, if it was like a movie we were looking forward to, like they're doing the They Live remake and it's produced by John Carpenter, and you're like, oh shit, but then it's like, yeah, it's directed by Rob Zombie or Eli Roth, you're gonna,
well, we know no. At least I know in my case it will never be Rob Zombie, because John Carpenter hates him.
That's
but
true.
He does like Eli Roth, so
Eli Roth nestled himself in with the big guys.
See, I don't like Eli Roth. I feel like it is very parallel to my Rob Zombie. You don't like Rob Zombie, but I just really don't like him.
I can tolerate him, yeah.
Eli Roth, like, I don't like him. Most of his stuff I don't like, but I'm not a fan of his, but like, you just, whenever he speaks, you just get angry.
I think it's because unlike Rob Zombie Rob Zombie keeps to himself, and despite whether or not you like his movies, he keeps to himself. It's like you don't really hear from him unless he's making a movie or touring or something. But Eli Roth thinks that he's good enough. Like, people will ask you, they'll be like, who's Eli Roth? And you'll be like, the dude that did the Hostel movies. They'll be like, oh, him? Why does he have so much say? Why does his name above Eli Roth's A History of Horror, Eli Roth's A Ghost Ruined My Life, Eli Roth Presents? Who are you? Like, what did you do to earn that? You just got in with popular people, dude. Like, The Hostel is not a good enough movie to put you at the top of a list to be presenting other people's movies. That's not a selling point to me.
Here, Drew, I'll take a little heat off of you and make my controversial Eli Roth comment. The Green Inferno sucks. People seem to love that movie. That movie sucks.
Terrible, dude. It's pretty bad.
But anyway, let's get back to Cabin Fever.
Let's stop shitting on him and actually.
So Eli, if you're listening, all the bad shit we said, it's going to turn around right here.
Yeah, exactly, because this movie rocks. The idea for Cabin Fever came after Eli Roth was working on a horse farm in Iceland
What the fuck?
and called us. Yeah, that's the question. Not the next part of the story, but the first part is why were you in Iceland?
How the fuck did
working on a horse farm?
How the fuck did he end up as a horse farm in Ireland? Iceland. I didn't even know there was like horse farms. I wasn't even on purpose. It's just subconsciously coming out now. I didn't even know there was a horse farm, like one of them in Iceland.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's how I felt too. That's the question: is what the fuck? Why were you there? What? Like, okay, but while he was there, he caught a skin virus that was making his skin literally eat itself.
Jesus Christ, this story gets fucking crazier like by each sentence.
And after catching this virus, Eli had to do some research on skin viruses and infections, and as a result, we have cabin fever. Eli also wanted to bring back grain and zooms and that dark look that movies in the late 90s and early 2000s didn't have anymore. Cabin Fever is about a group of 5 college friends who travel to Hicksville to a cabin in the woods for some R&R during spring break. Things go south when they start catching a deadly and rapidly acting flesh-eating virus. The movie could have gone the how do we get help, let's stick together route, but there's no fun in that. Instead, the movie takes the route of everyone turning on each other and becoming the bigger threat to one another than the virus that's actively eating them alive. You don't find out where the virus originated from until the very end, and despite the humor, it's a very bleak ending. Cabin Fever is a gorehound's dream, man. It's a very fun watch.
Eli Roth doing a gory movie.
It's all he's got, really, but it worked for this.
That was backhanded.
No, it worked for this because this movie is suitable for that thing. And it's a very fun watch because it doesn't take itself seriously. And it has an odd sense of humor, man. You know, that little kid, pancakes, you know, like, for example, like, what the fuck's up with the pancake kids and his bang? His bangs, man. I don't get it. But, but on the flip side of things, there's some really fucking gross and brutal things that happen in this movie, like the finger bang misfire. Everybody, like, you get a from everybody when you watch that, you know, like, and the movie has a real genuine summertime / summer camp vibe to it. It's perfect for late summer nights with the windows open, drinking lemonade and relaxing with a blunt in your hand.
Some lemonade, though. Now, I got real quick.
Yeah.
Are you just a straight up lemonade guy? Do you like the flavored lemonades? I get made fun of because I like the flavored lemonades.
I've only had regular lemonade and raspberry lemonade, and I'm not a fan of raspberry lemonade, so I've kind of been turned off from trying other flavors. I do like lemonade iced tea, but that's more for the iced tea element, I think.
So Arnold Palmer's.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say Wendy's has some like good flavored lemonades. They have one I like. It's mango lemonade.
Oh, that sounds pretty good.
And I've had like strawberry lemonade.
That strawberry lemonade sounds good. I would try both of those.
Wawa up the street got some different flavor. I fucking love lemonade.
Yeah, Wawa's got everything anymore.
They got watermelon lemonade.
Some goddamn lemonade,
dude,
man.
You'd hate that.
Well, lemonade is like the worst thing to fucking drink when you're smoking. You just get so much cotton mouth from like the tartness of the drink and the blood.
Your lips all sticky.
Anyway, oh shit. Okay, the cast in this movie in Cabin Fever is perfect. Jordan Ladd, who's known for her roles in Never Been Kissed and Club Dread, liked the script because she said that it was, quote, totally grotesque and gory, end quote, and it made her sick. Serena Vincent from Not Another Teen Movie has arguably the craziest and cringiest scene in the film where she shaves her legs and the skin comes off unbeknownst to her.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Right, well, here we go. That scene was taken from real life. Once Eli had contracted the skin virus on the horse farm in Iceland, he said he went to shave his face and his skin was just coming off as he was shaving. Right. My favorite.
I wonder if it was that bad though.
I don't know. Maybe
like half his face hanging off.
I might have been exaggerating. It wasn't no poltergeist where I don't think he's ripping his face off, but maybe some like I guess
skin and fingernails really fucks with me.
I agree. I can't imagine shaving like sheets or like pieces of skin off. That's just but that's terrible. But my favorite characters in the movie are Bert, played by James DeBello, and Deputy Winston. Hey, it's the party man, played by Giuseppe Andrews. These guys are both from Detroit Rock City, that movie about the group of friends trying to see a Kiss concert, and they're great in that as well. And Joey Kern, who plays the asshole in the film, he plays the asshole Jeff. He's still very active, although you don't really see him around in anything, and that's just, I guess, me, because unless you're doing horror, I'm probably not gonna notice you. And of course, there's Ryder Strong. You know, Sean from Boy Meets World. Ryder Strong.
Ryder Strong.
But he needs no introduction. But I will say that he does a good job carrying this movie and should get more leading roles. His film career is kind of veered off though. So
my leg skin's so fucked up from thinking about that scene.
Oh, I know,
It's
man.
all itchy.
Dude, it's bad. Like, what's worse, that or the finger bang scene? The finger bang misfire where he just pulls up like
It's
meatloaf.
the skin.
The skin? Okay, I said he pulls up meatloaf. Why did I say it like that? It just looks like he just dipped his hand in
It's just
some raw
like
hamburger
another
meat.
one that when I instantly think about it makes me cringe.
Yeah.
Is Love, who was in our Love Gone Wrong. I forgot to mention it. P2, when her fingernail, when she's reaching for the phone and it like snaps back.
Fingernails
That's-
get you though. That's one of your things, isn't it?
Fingernails. I don't know why, like, but it's fingernails. Like, it's just your fingernail, but like, I don't know, something about it.
I feel you. That's that and Achilles tendon.
Achilles tendon.
The Achilles tendon. Yeah. Fingernails, Achilles tendons. Like, yeah, they'll get you every time for sure. They're
Oh,
always
yeah.
gonna get a ugh.
That's the thing I remember most from your boy's Hostel movie.
Well, here's some knowledge nugs about this one. All of the studios passed on this movie until it hit the Toronto Film Festival. It got a great reception there, and Lionsgate won the bidding war for distribution rights. Okay, here's another one. The screwdriver scene where the bald hillbilly gets stabbed in the ear with the screwdriver is taken right out of Dawn of the Dead, so there's your homage. And whenever the cast complained on set about the conditions or whatever, he would remind them of everything that Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi and them went through when making The Evil Dead and how what they're going through pales in comparison, and that would shut them up.
You threw that last one in just to make Eli look like a little bit of a dick, huh?
But I don't know. Well, I think it's more of a I don't know. Like I guess like you shouldn't be comparing your movie to Evil Dead right off the bat. It's kind of
But it's
maybe he's not comparing it. Maybe
Cabin Fever, though.
Maybe I'm just being a dick. Maybe he's not trying to compare. But yeah, like bringing up like your movie versus Evil Dead. It's like they're not making Evil Dead. They're making Cabin Fever. So
who was it that recently said about like going all like in depth with movies? He was like, what if you do that and it sucks? You just like wasted. You're just an asshole to people for no reason.
I forget. Oh well, what Mads Mikkelsen, right?
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Totally. That was a funny quote.
I guess we'll get on to my number 2.
Yeah, don't forget the number like last time. Don't lose count, dog. We're only doing 3 this time. We're only doing 3. You got this.
I think I got it.
Number 2. Give me 2.
It looks like it low, dog. I got the bong packed. We're here at number 2. You talked about a cabin. I got a cabin too. Mine does, well, I guess, it doesn't have a virus, but it is in the woods. From 2011, The Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, man. Awesome movie. This movie divides horror fans. You either get it or you don't. The hardcore horror fans, I hate using that term, but I guess it's the initiated will get it more than the less initiated. I guess if that's how I'll word it. I've said it since day one that Cabin in the Woods is by far has the greatest werewolf we've ever seen on the silver screen. Designed by Konstantin Sekuris. It is the best design I've ever seen, and nothing has topped it before or after. Richard Citrone, played by the werewolf, who plays the werewolf, also plays the merman as well. Drew Goddard and Joss Whedon's emphasis on the werewolf was, quote,
Are you allowed to say Josh Whedon in 2022?
True. Josh, our editor, could just bleep that out. We'll just bleep his name like it's a bad word.
It was also written by...
But, quote, this werewolf has to be fast, it has to kick ass, and it has to be all practical. Drew Goddard is very particular in how the werewolf looked and was persistent until he got exactly what he wanted on the screen.
And jumping back here, it's the story of Dana, the virgin, Jules, the whore, Kurt Vaughn, the athlete, Holden, the scholar, and Drew and I's favorite, fucking Marty, the fool, or as we'll call him, the stoner.
Oh, yeah. That's the dude right there.
Yeah, they're spending the week at Kurt's cousin's cabin, and Kurt, in an early role from Chris Hemsworth. This was before he was Thor. But Marty has the greatest coffee mug in the fucking world.
I want it, dude. Yeah.
You could probably get one online, but I want the exact one from The Cabin in the Woods. I don't want some bullshit substitute.
I don't know if it existed before this movie, but I guarantee you it inspired people afterwards.
Dude,
it probably does exist now if we looked it up.
It's not like you've seen, if nobody's seen it, like you've had coffee cups that have like a little bowl on them so you can smoke. It's a coffee cup. My man's got a thermos. It's like the one you would get from like a gas station. Like there's like 16, 20 ounce thermos.
Yes, like
but you can
thermos,
I guess like click it or something. And it extends into like what, like a foot long ball, foot and a half.
Yeah,
like that shit's
it's
badass,
epic, man. Like I was gonna say, I've never seen anybody with one in person, but if I ever did, I would imagine it'd be me and you. If there was ever anybody who I'm gonna be like, who's gonna smoke out of this ball, and compact it into a coffee mug, and then get out of their car and walk around like they just sipping coffee? It's me or John.
Yeah, we need that. So the movie begins with engineers Gary and Steve discussing a plan for a mysterious ritual after the failure of a basically similar operation in Stockholm, Sweden. After our stereotypical group enter the cabin, they're hit with some drugs from Gary and Steve, who are controlling the lab remotely. The drugs make them all kinds of horny. Back at the lab, we see the crew are making bets on the kinds of monsters that will attack the college students. And our virgin Dana recites incantations from the diary of Patience Buckner, a cabin resident who was abused by her sadistic family. Steve releases pheromones to make Kurt and Jules have sex outside, and they get attacked by a zombie, and Jules straight up gets her head yeeted from her body. And Kurt...
What'd you say?
Got his head yeeted. Well, her head
yeeted.
was yeeted from her body from the zombies. Kurt manages to escape, and Marty finds the concealed surveillance equipment. So much for the stoner being the fool, huh?
Yeah, man.
And then he immediately gets taken away by zombies. Cutting back to the lab, we learn that Japan also had a failed ritual, and they mention that America, like always, is the world's last hope. Anyway, Holden, Kurt, and Dana try to get away in the RV, but Gary triggers the tunnel to collapse. And in one of my favorite moments in the film, Kurt attempts to jump the ravine on, was it like a dirt bike?
Yeah.
And he crashes right into a force field and just like slides down that bitch.
Right into that fucking Skull Island King Kong force field that Kong's in and Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah. As you expect, he is dead. And Holden and Dana put two and two together. Took them longer than the stoner, huh? And they realize everything's staged. As they try once again to leave in the RV, Holden's killed by a zombie, and Dana's attacked after crashing into the lake. The workers at the lab celebrate the success of the ritual, but their joy shut down pretty damn quick. The director, played by... I was throwing it over to you.
Drew Goddard.
Calls to reveal that our boy Marty is still alive. Marty finds Dana and takes her to the hidden elevator he found. They descend into the lab and they find a huge array of different monsters in the cages. That's also a pretty badass scene.
Yeah, agreed.
Dana compares them to objects that were in the cabin cellar. She comes to the realization that the objects determine what monsters would be released. Well, what do you think the betting odds were on like zombies? Do you think they all had different odds?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't want to bet on any because I wouldn't want any of them released.
Anyway, Dana and Marty are cornered by the security staff, and then they release all the monsters. And the monsters just go on and wreck shit and just kill the staff. Steve's killed by a merman. Gary's stabbed to death by Dana. And Dana and Marty attempt to flee and find an ancient temple and are confronted by the director. She explains that the rites are a worldwide annual ritual.
The director is Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant the director of the movie. I'm baked and got confused. You said the director.
I was like, I'll let him go, and then I think he'll. This is about where I figured she'd come back and be like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I get you now.
I just let you go sounding stupid for a couple minutes.
It's all good. I rebounded.
I saw the light bulb click. Yep. Yeah, that's Sigourney Weaver plays the director.
Sigourney Weaver. Anyway.
Oh my god. Anyway, she explains that the rites are a worldwide annual ritual of human sacrifice to appease the Ancient Ones.
The Ancient Ones.
The Ancient Ones are a group of subterranean deities. Do you think like that ties into Chuds? Or Chud?
Yeah, maybe.
Chuds.
Yeah, it could be. A little better than Chud, though.
Chubs?
That's a porn title, dude.
I was going to say, that's the Gianna Michaels.
You just followed up my House with the Cox and House with the Cox and its walls. Now we have to do Chub with the letters and everything, like with a sword lid, but it's just... All right, I'll stop. If you know the cover of Chud, you'll know what I'm doing. I'm just picturing a phallus poking out of a sewer lid right now, like, covered in like green slime.
Green slime.
Yeah, there was some like evil angel action going on. I don't know. All right, anyway, move on.
All right, get him back to the cabin in the woods.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Each region has their own ritual. You all right there?
I'm good.
Anyway, each region has their own ritual, and in America, we do it the slasher movie way. Like I said when I gave them the archetypes earlier, that's what's required. The order of the killing doesn't matter so long as the whore dies first and the virgin dies last or survives.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's okay if she survives if it's all about human sacrifice. But the
True
director urges Dana to kill Marty to complete the ritual and spare humanity. Dana is about to, but then she's attacked by your werewolf.
Yeah.
While Patience kills the director fucking out of nowhere. Marty then kills everything and everyone except Dana. They decide humanity is not worth saving at the price of human sacrifices. Dana apologizes to Marty, and I guess that was okay because they spark one up.
Yeah.
And the temple floor collapses, a giant hand emerges from the ground and destroys the lab and the cabin as the world ends. So it goes just from like a monster movie that people are being forced to be in to like...
Forced?
to this is the fucking apocalypse.
Yeah, it goes from monster movie to apocalypse movie. And the thing that is, at the end of the movie, man, like once shit breaks out, like everything's destroyed rather quickly. I kind of want to know like the time span on how long it took the whole world to be destroyed, because I mean like that shit happens so rapidly. I mean like they literally spark up a joint and by the end credits like everything's wrecked.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
Yeah, definitely. And I have some knowledge notes that I want to say here real quick. You would like this, John. Heather Lang. Oh, wow. Wow.
I had to.
Okay. Heather Langenkamp did the special effects on this movie.
Really?
Yep. She does makeup effects work. So that's pretty cool, right?
That's hot.
That's hot. And Cabin in the Woods was inspired by the nukes at Los Alamos, where Drew Goddard grew up. He said, quote, "The whole town exists because it's a government lab that designs weapons, and that's the only reason the town exists," end quote. Images from Los Alamos in the 1950s were used to craft the set and inspire some of the costumes.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I've seen the old, like, have you ever seen the old test footage of, like, bombs?
I mean, no. I mean, I know the whole Hills Have Eyes shit. Like, you know, no. besides,
You should look, dude, those things are fucking, like, crazy.
I can imagine. It's that stuff's kind of scary to look at. I like my horror being fiction, you know. My horror.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All right, you got anything else you want to say about your Cabin in the Woods?
I said it all, dog.
All right, well then let's move on to our number one. Okay, and at number one on my list is The Burning from 1981. The Burning is essential viewing of the horror genre, regardless of if you're a slasher fan or not. It's simply one you do not miss or skip over because it's a landmark. Due to it being in the early 80s, it's a dead serious slasher like Friday the 13th. There's a few laughs and silly characters, but the movie is straightforward, and it's a shining example of the slasher genre at its absolute finest. Tom Savini did some of his best work on this movie. He turned down Friday the 13th Part 2 because he said Jason is dead, and that it's ridiculous to bring him back.
Well, it sounds like he was ridiculous because Jason was back. And it made a lot of money.
More and more times, too. And, well, Savini wanted to move on, and so he went on to do the next slasher film that would allow him to showcase his skills with more unique and brutal practical effects kills, The Burning. Tom would later return to the Friday the 13th series.
Guess he realized he was ridiculous.
Well, yeah, he returned for my favorite installment, the fourth one, the final chapter. Tom agreed to do that movie because it's supposedly being the final one and all, and with Jason dying, he wanted to kill off the character that he created. So
Okay, I mean,
that's pretty cool, right? So anyway, The Burning is about a guy named Cropsy who's burned in his sleep in his cabin due to a prank gone wrong by some campgoers looking for payback because Cropsy was a drunk asshole. 5 years later, Cropsy comes out of the hospital and goes to camp every year looking for the boys who burned him beyond recognition, now to pay them some payback. Cropsy is played by Lou David, who didn't really do too many movies in his short-lived career. He's still alive as far as I know, but he just isn't very active. He had a role in the 1990 exploitation flick The Exterminator, directed by James Glickenhaus, which is a lot of fun. But also, Lou David does a hell of a lot of... he does a hell of a job. I mean, playing a silent and angry burn victim looking for revenge. This movie just feels like summer. I want to put on my swim trunks and flip-flops even thinking about it. Cannot go a summer without it playing at least once, even if it's just in the background while I'm doing something else.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Silent burn victims. Cropsy. Who do you like more? Cropsy or Kane?
Damn.
I mean, Cropsy would probably. Well, I don't know. Kane got them supernatural powers like Undertaker.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna go Cropsy. The Cropsy will pull them shears out and get you in the jugular.
Yeah, and I gotta say though, like, even if people haven't seen this movie, I feel like a lot of people are familiar with the poster.
The shears like over the head.
It's classic.
Absolutely.
Classic 80s.
And here's some knowledge nugs. Cropsy was named and based off of the Cropsy urban legend in which an escaped mental patient hunts children with a hook for a hand. Interesting. This was...
Damn, always the mental patients likes killing people.
And hooks for hands, man. But this was the film studio... This was the... Oh, here we go. This was the film studio Miramax's first project.
They only made classy pictures.
Right. And this was also Jason Alexander's first film, who you all know as George Costanza on Seinfeld. He wanted his shirt to read the number 69 as a sex joke, but the studio said no. And a slasher film with tits and gore,
That's uncalled for.
69 on your jersey is a no-no, so you have to...
grow up.
So that's why his jersey says 96 instead. He also added his own lines of dialogue to be funnier, so I guess even though it was his first film, he had a Robert Downey Jr. moment where he felt that he could just do whatever the fuck he wanted, and they let him. But also, while I'm talking about the cast, Leah Ayres, who plays Michelle, the lead babe in the film, she's from our movie Bloodsport.
Oh, hell yeah, Bloodsport.
Damn it. All right.
I was going to say Miramax. Where are they now? Fucking
yeah, man. Like, hardly...
You can't go around molesting actresses for like 30 years or whatever and not think you're going to get caught.
I shouldn't have laughed at that. That's not what I mean. I don't mean laugh. I mean laugh as in, haha, fuck you guys. Like, that's what you get. You're right. Now they're laying low under the radar like Kevin Spacey, except he kind of popped his head out recently.
What the fuck? Kevin Spacey coming back for
yeah,
a
he
movie.
just disappeared
He's
for a
villain.
couple
I
years.
guess it makes sense, right?
Yeah, right.
Anyway,
the raft scene in The Burning got the film an X rating and needed to be trimmed drastically. The full uncut version is now available after many years of waiting. We mentioned this in another episode, actually. But anyway, Cropsy kills all of the nice people in the scene, and essentially that's symbolizing that he kills Hope right away in the first kill scene. And this kill was also what got The Burning put on the UK's Video Nasties list. Of all things considered, it's ridiculous that this movie was on the Video Nasties
That's the only
list.
thing it got it on there?
That's it. That is a scene on the raft where he just kills the people. Like,
All right.
yeah, that puts it on the list with I Spit on Your Grave and Cannibal Holocaust for some reason. Whatever.
Basically.
And lastly, director Tony Malum said that he did quick shots of Cropsy's face and didn't want to show him for too long because he didn't feel that the makeup would hold up. I guess he wasn't as convinced by Savini's work as everyone else was. But he also said that he wishes that he'd done stylized burns for Cropsy like Freddy Krueger because he feels that Cropsy is unpleasant to look at. But I like that, though. That doesn't bother me. It makes it more disturbing.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. And I got to say, bringing up your knowledge nugs, I'm definitely watching Bloodsport after we're done here.
What is it called again?
Bloodsport?
There we go. Now I'm never going to hear it the same way again. Speaking of which, real quick, hopefully some of you listeners are Jean-Claude Van Damme fans. Otherwise, you'll be bored for like 10 seconds. There's like a line of action figures coming out by Diamond Select Toys of Van Damme, and the first one is from Bloodsport. And it's only like a $30 figure. It's not expensive. It's like a nice figure on a stand of him like posed on like the mat, like with his black trunks on. I'm like, yo, I'm
Is
gonna
it just
get that
him?
shit. Yeah, it's just him, but he's throwing like a high kick, and it's
No,
just
I
him.
want the split, dog.
See what this? Well, there's Pop Culture Shot Collectibles that did like a fucking like, or they're doing like a $3,000 Van Damme statue, and I like Van Damme, but if I'm spending $3,000 on a statue, it's gonna be Godzilla or something horror. I'm not dropping 3 G's on Van Damme and a
I'm
loincloth.
sorry, you said 3 G's?
Yeah,
Is Chong Li coming with it too?
they're making him, but he's a separate piece you have to buy.
That's bullshit. Like I should get Frank Dukes, Chong Li, and Jackson. Like for
Right?
$3,000.
Get the exclusive. Get Jackson's
And
bandana.
that's still overpriced in my opinion.
Get that Harley Davidson bandana as part of a
Yeah,
bandana.
dude. And then
part of a bandana. I mean, part of an exclusive.
I'd straight up. I would have Chong Li stomping on his head. That would be the pose I'd put it in.
Damn, you gotta go for the brutal. What would Van
Dude,
Damme be
Chong
doing?
Li was a bad motherfucker.
You'd have to pose Van Damme with like
until he Yokozunaed him.
you'd have to but you'd have to pose the Van Damme like when he gets powder in his eyes. Pose
Like the close-up?
Yeah, with his hands. Anyway, let's get back to the point. You want to get on with your number one now?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think that was more than 10 seconds.
I think I said 30. No, I said 10.
You said 10.
That was more like 3 minutes, maybe.
All right, before I get to my number one, I know a lot of you are like, where the fuck is Jason? We have covered so many Friday the 13th on previous episodes, and we'd probably like to get some people from the other ones we haven't covered, so we didn't include those on the list, but I mean,
We'll talk about later.
we all know Jason is the number one summer camp movie. But anyway, with that said, I think now that it's not a Friday the 13th, I think number one, there should be no surprise. From 1983, known as Nightmare Vacation in the UK, we're talking about motherfucking Sleepaway Camp. The film that put Felissa Rose on the horror map in the main role of Angela.
Oh, man.
I was lucky. Drew did his list first, and I think he was just being nice to me, but I was surprised that Sleepaway Camp was not on there.
You actually just saved me. I was coughing. I needed to pause. And I was going to say pause so Josh could edit that out. And you just kept talking and saved that. So good on you. Roll on. Anyway,
Roll Tide. No,
I actually saw
Tide.
I actually saw these movies out of order. The twist of the first film was spoiled for me. But I still loved it. It disappointed me a bit with some of the kills not being what they could be, like how there's no bees in the bee attack scene. But that was one that I kept coming back to, and it grew on me more and more every time I watched it.
Yeah, he said there's no bees. It made me think of the movie Crush.
Yeah.
Even that could afford bees, damn.
Yeah, I know, right? That's bare bones, but it works.
It's the summer of 1975, and John Baker, along with his partner Lenny, take John's kids, Angela and Peter, on a boating trip to Camp Arawak. The kids prank their dad by capsizing the boat. They swim to shore where Lenny is waiting for them, and a reckless-ass camp counselor, Mary Ann, hits John and Peter with her speedboat leaves Angela as the only sole survivor. Yo, we need to talk about like how horrible and irresponsible camp counselors are in a lot of these movies. Like,
yeah, man, that's true. Jason
just a
motherfucking
Friday the
drowned.
13th.
Jason
series.
drowned so somebody could get their dick wet. That's fucked up.
They dickwit.
That's fucked up, man.
Fucked up. Anyway, 8 years later, Angela's living with her crazy-ass aunt, Dr. Martha Thomas, and her son, Ricky.
Crazy ass man.
Is she not crazy?
She's fucking loony as hell, man.
Her aunt, for whatever reason, thinks it's a good idea to send Angela to Camp Arawak with Ricky, who went to camp there before. Like, why the hell would she think this is a good idea at all? Like, it's a horrible idea. Hey, I know, you lost your entire fucking family at this beach, so or at this camp. So why don't you go back there for summer camp?
Yeah, it's
Anyway, obviously,
get over your traumas, face your fears.
yeah, fix your life. Angela is shy, timid, and introverted. This leads to her becoming a target for bullying. Most of it comes from her bunkmate Judy and a counselor Meg. The other counselors, Susie and the head counselor Ronnie, try to help make her time at the camp easier. If that wasn't bad enough, Artie, the head cook, takes Angela into the kitchen pantry and attempts to molest her. Like, goddamn, like your two memories at this point, well, I guess 3 memories of this camp are your family died, these people are fucking bullying you and teasing you, and now the fucking cook's trying to like molest you in the pantry.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the whole line when it's like when he sees the kids walking by and he goes, "That's what I call baldies." Oh man, what a fucking scumbag! You want him to die like immediately, like no matter, like unredeemable. Kill that fucker right away. Let's get him done, and he does too. He definitely, my man gets his shit.
He gets his shit, indeed.
Indeed.
He's caught by Ricky, who runs away with Angela. She's straight up not having a good time. And Camp Arawak just sounds like a shitty ass place to be.
It does. It definitely does.
Ricky gets his comeuppance. Or I'm sorry, the cook gets his comeuppance when an unseen figure causes Artie to knock over a pot of boiling water, and he ends up looking like the nurse from Halloween 2 in the jacuzzi.
Yeah, with the flaky skin. You're right.
Flaky skin with your melted ass face.
Yeah, and he deserved worse.
The camp owner, Mel, says it was an accident to try to sweep this all under the rug. The next day, Angela's getting mocked by Kenny and Mike. Like, each day is just worse and worse for her.
Yeah, man.
This leads to Ricky and his friend Paul squaring up with him. And Paul ends up getting a little crush on Angela. He gets Angela to talk for the first time in the movie. The night she pranks a girl named Leslie by tipping her boat. And then Kenny is drowned by someone we can't see again. Mel once again says it's an accident, but at this point, the police ain't buying that shit. And Paul asks Angela to movie night with him. After the movie, kisses her goodnight twice, and Angela pushes him away and says she has to go. Campers Billy and Mike throw water balloons at Angela. Like, does everybody, like, form a pack or, like, let's fuck with her? Like, just this one person. Like,
that's a popular thing to do.
Billy ends up getting stung to death when a figure we once again can't see traps him in the bathroom and drops a whole goddamn hive of bees in there.
That we never see, but yeah.
Whatever. Now Mel suspects a killer is in the camp. You think, Mel? Like,
right.
It only took the third death for you to be like, something's not right.
Worried about that.
How much is this man paying out in insurance? This camp's getting shut the fuck down.
That's the truth, man. Totally.
Paul and Angela are chilling around the lake and they start making out. Now seems like a good time for her to have a flashback to her and Peter finding her dad in bed with his partner Lenny. This leads to Angela pulling back again from Paul and leaving him all blue-balled and confused.
Blue-balled and confused.
That's how you doing today? I'm blue-balled and confused.
I've been there. Done that.
Anyway, the next day during a flag game, Judy takes the chance to make her move on Paul. Angela finds the two of them kissing. Paul attempts to explain himself at the lake. However, Judy and Meg take the chance to throw Angela in the lake. Ricky rescues her and the children throw sand at him. Like, these kids are the fucking worst. It's like you don't feel bad that half of them are dying. He promises revenge on Angela's tormentors. And Meg's supposed to meet up with Mel, but instead she gets stabbed to death in the shower. At that night's social, Paul apologizes for everything that happened with Judy. And Angela says to meet her at the waterfront later. The kids who threw sand at Angela earlier camping in the woods with their counselor, Eddie. Two of the kids ask Eddie to take them back to the main camp. And by the time Eddie comes back to that camp, the four remaining kids are all hacked up. Also, why are you, like... I don't think you could do that. Like, you got to leave the kids with somebody. Like, you just left them with, like, no adult.
That's true. And how do you explain their death? Like, how they got hacked up? Who was there to watch them and protect them? Right? They were sleeping. I didn't think I needed to.
They was asleep. Meanwhile, back at the main camp, the killer enters Judy's cabin and murders her. This is, like, the darkest kill in the film, no? Like,
man, that kill is bad. The straightening iron
rapes her with a hot curling iron.
Oh my god, it's so brutal. Yeah, that's and all you see is the shadow on the wall. But you're just like, with the first time you watch that movie, you're going, "No, they're not. No, they won't."
It smothers her with a pillow,
and you hear like the sizzling. Yeah, it's
bacon's
terrible.
Ready.
Tuna melt.
Oh, you had to go there. Oh, that's fucked up.
The bacon, but okay.
I mean, you went tuna. Come on, everybody knows why that's more fucked up. Anyway, the camp is in full freak out
I don't know
mode
what you're
now.
talking about.
Mel finds Meg's dead body, and they're convinced Ricky's the killer since he publicly swore revenge. So yeah, that's probably not a good look for Ricky at this point.
Yeah.
Mel beats the fuck out of Ricky and escapes into the woods. Only problem is he framed the wrong guy. Mel runs into the real murderer, and it appears like he recognizes the killer before being shot in the throat by an arrow. Like, I have to say, this movie does a good job of, like, ramping up the kills with
I
each
agree.
one.
Yeah. They're all good and creative, too.
Frank is called, and he looks with the counselors for the missing campers. He finds Ricky unconscious but alive. Paul meets up with Angela at the waterfront, and he suggests they skinny dip. After they do, Ronnie and Susie find Angela sitting on the shore, and Paul, who's laying in Angela's lap as she strokes his hair. I'm gonna have to come back to the skinny dip once we get to the end. I got a question about that.
Okay. Interesting.
Now we got a flashback, and crazy Aunt Martha's welcoming the survivor of the boat accident. But in the flashback, we learn that it was actually Angela who died in the boating accident. Martha has been raising Peter as Angela because she already had a boy and wanted a girl. I mean, I don't think it works that way, but with that information, we jump back to the president and the president. Jesus! We're back in the present, and Angela, who's actually Peter, drops Paul's severed head on the ground. Peter stands up nude, drenched in blood, and has swinging wang in full view.
Swinging
That thing just swang. Susie and Ronnie are shocked, and we see them with like a deranged expression that fades into a green tint as the credits roll. I said I wanted to jump back to the skinny dip. Do you think that Paul was aware when they skinny dipped? Do you think he saw the dick?
That's a good point, man. The way you said that. To be truthful, and here's the answer for you. That dick had a big dark bush around it, and it was dark outside, so it might have been masked in the dark
Be
water.
like, oh damn, you just got a really big clit.
Or just
Too far?
Yeah, I guess I don't think Peter saw it. If he did, he might. I don't know. That one's touchy, man.
But his decapitated head just resting on it, though. Tapping the back of his head.
Nestled his cheek on it. Oh shit, we're being really immature. A lot of dick jokes going down this episode.
So that was number one.
Okay.
It was, I mean, I feel like everybody knows it now, and even if they haven't seen it, they've heard about it. But like,
Yeah.
it was shocking when it came out. Even when I was a kid at that point, I mean, you didn't have the internet to ruin everything, so
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
Totally, man, and yeah, I think the movies that we picked were good movies because they all have that true, like, genuine summertime feel to them. Like they all feel like summer when you're watching them. Like the scenery and everything puts you in that time. When you're watching that movie, you know where you're at. You know, with these movies, I mean, when you're watching them, you know what time you're in. You know what time of year it is. Like, you understand everything. You feel like you've been at these camps, regardless if you've seen the camps before. Just, oh, that's a camp during the summer. Very summertime movies, and I think these were good choices. It wasn't like, for example, Friday the 13th Part 6. I know that's your movie, but it's all like fall and shit there, like wind blowing and stuff like that. And that's not summer. You feel what I'm saying? Like, these were summer movies, so good choices.
Yeah, and you just have those movies that you want to watch around certain times. Like you got Art over there. Like, I feel like I watch Terrifier a lot during the year, but I don't watch it a lot throughout the year. I feel like around, like, once it hits like fall, maybe late August, probably not even late August, like mid September through Halloween. Like, I feel like I watch that a lot. I would have watched it in the spring, but Kenny didn't want to watch it.
Yeah, of course.
Fucking Kenny.
Fucking Kenny. Thanks for listening, Kenny. All right. Anyway, the film crew from Creepshow came over from Creepshow and started working on this movie, which is interesting.
I did not know that. It's pretty interesting. I mean, I love fucking Creepshow.
Yeah, I mean, those guys kept busy and they put out some good work. Ricky was supposed to die in the original script from that beatdown that he gets at the end of the film. He was supposed to die from that.
Yeah, he got Mel fucked him up.
That was a TKO, bro. That was a TKO.
Herb Dean letting him die.
All right, director Robert Hiltzik says that he had this movie in his head before Friday the 13th broke. So he likes to take credit for having the first summer camp slasher idea conception. He also said that he regrets that he killed children in the movie. I don't mind that, though. I think it helps give the movie a set of balls, pun intended. And Hiltzik actually went to Camp Arawak in real life.
Just proves your aunt can make you into a homicidal killer.
Right. And also, here's a good one. Naked Angela at the end of the movie, with her wiener swanging, as you would say, was actually a drunk college guy wearing an Angela mask. The guy who was so ashamed of his part in the film that he's never taken credit for the role despite their efforts. No one from the movie can find him or contact him.
It's probably because of that bush you talked about.
And I brought this up to Felissa Rose when I met her. She couldn't believe that I knew that. I jumped, and she jumped up from behind her table and like hugged me. Like she was so impressed because I was talking to her. Like she was filming. They're filming a documentary about sleepaway camp. I can't remember what it's called. I think it fell through right now. But like basically, like they were trying to find him. That was part of the thing. And I asked her like, did you find this guy? Like, did you find out who he was? And she couldn't believe I knew. And I told her, like I do my homework, and she told me she fucking loved me and hugged me again. So that's shit I'll always remember.
But I guess she said that they did not find him.
They did not find him. No, like no one could still find him. Like, and the truth, it's not trying to be grim or nothing. Like the dude might have totally just gone off the face of the map, and it's one of those like, oh yeah, I was in a movie sometime, and it's true. It might be that he doesn't know the movie's out there or what it's called. He might be living oblivious to it.
I was a dick guy, sleepaway camp.
He's just one story away. Like he's so embarrassed about it. He just tells somebody, "Yeah, I did this movie one time. I don't know nothing about it." Like, but I was nude at the end. I had to wear like a little girl's like 13, 14-year-old mask, and I think something along those lines. And then people would be like, "Dude, you were fucking Angela at sleepaway camp," and he would be so like conventions would be calling him. He could be like,
"No, I'm Peter, dog."
How many people would have him sign over like the dick of like their pictures of Angela?
I'll tell you. Here's my theory. I think, obviously, the guy was trying to be an actor.
Yeah.
I feel like he failed out of... I have no knowledge to support any of this. This is just me.
Okay.
I want to make this clear. I'm not saying, like, this is what he was doing. I am blatantly making this out of thin air. I think what happened is the guy tried to do acting. That's about the only thing he was ever able to do. He maybe did, like, a couple other things that didn't work out, possibly. Failed out of his dream of being an actor. Then I think later he found God, and he's a religious person now, and he's ashamed because of what he did in that movie. That's my theory.
How high are you?
Oh, I'm high as shit.
You gave this guy a backstory. He found God?
Tell me.
Your theory of all this, he found God along his path? Okay.
Because he was fine. I was just giving you the brief story. Here's what happened. Maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. My idea is he maybe had a drug problem.
Hey,
if you didn't, dude, and for some reason you're listening to this for whatever reason, my man. Like, I'm just making up stories here. Yeah. I think he failed out of his dream of being an actor, got a drug problem, hit rock bottom, found God, and now he's ashamed by what he did in sleepaway camp and doesn't want to be found and talk about it, because then he'll have to talk about everything.
I mean,
and yes, I am high as fuck.
But then he'd have to repent.
I think that's a solid fucking theory.
He'd have to repent for his sins. So I mean, I
maybe
guess
not those.
He wouldn't have to make it. He wouldn't have to make it
but
public.
But he found God, and he's ashamed of the movie he was in.
His wife knows who he is. His wife knows what he did.
His wife knows.
His wife knows.
I'm telling you, he became religious. He's embarrassed.
All right. Well, while I'm here, I'll end it. Here's my theory. No, I'm not going to top Finding God, and you set my man on a career path. I'm going to let it ride with that.
He playing the game of life, dog.
I'm going to send him out into the sunset on that path.
Sunset? Wherever he is, if he's still alive, who knows, since nobody can find him. Hopefully he's doing okay and didn't have a drug problem, like I said.
And if you happen to listen to the podcast and you are said said Angela's Wang, please contact us and let us know
It's
because
still
we'll talk to
Peter's
you.
Wang, dog.
Peter's Wang. That's true. That's true. Okay.
It's still old
Stunt
Pete's.
guy for Pete's Wang.
Old Petey cut.
If you are listening to this, which I doubt you are, definitely let's unbury the truth here. Let's uncover
Maybe it
the
was
truth
D.B.
and
Cooper.
let's talk about it, man. I need to know. We
don't
need
even
to know.
know.
The world needs to know what it was like to do that final scene and how it was on set because it's become this like mythical. That's not the right word to use.
Mythical.
It's
It's
become
mythical.
this-
It's a mythical cocktail.
It's become this. It's become this thing that fans talk about. It's a mystery that people want solved. So come out from under the woodwork, Peter's cock.
So maybe next week we'll be joining you with Peter's cock. We'll let you know.
Hopefully not, but
I think that is probably too many dick references we've had in the last like 25 minutes.
it's 2:45 in the morning.
It's too.
How
It
much
is
weed did we
2:45.
Talking, there's a lot of dick jokes going down tonight.
But remember, when they find him, I said it here first on High on Horror. He became religious and he's embarrassed.
We really lived up to our the Howard Stern of horror today, didn't we? We could have gone
Should we
worse.
be so embarrassed we go into hiding now?
Yeah. I'm not.
All right,
No.
fair enough. I think it's time to land this plane.
We tried to stop rambling, and then we just got back
More
into rambling.
All right,
Okay.
we're landing this thing.
Let's do this.
Thanks to all the horror hounds and smokers out there for tuning in. And I know we were supposed to have Ruth Paxton on this week, but just had some conflicts with schedules, so hopefully we'll get that to you next week. But definitely contact us online. Let us know what some of your favorite like summertime camp movies are.
And let us know what you thought of our list.
Yeah, and if you don't like our list, then fuck you. You're terrible.
We got 2 words for you. There's another dick reference joke.
Yeah, we'll just stop it there. Gimmick infringement. Anyway, follow us online at High on Horror 420 on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I don't think I've uploaded a TikTok video in a while. I should probably work on that, huh?
we behind in the TikTok.
Just fucking stoners, man. Check out our website, highonhorror.com, and sign up for our newsletter and get the latest episodes and guest announcements sent to your inbox. And you can always email us at highonhorror420@gmail.com. And guess that'll about wrap her up. Catch you later.
Bye, everybody.